Welcome to the J Miles podcast, and I want to welcome you to this week's episode. The topic for today's discussion is growing up with a absentee father. I think this topic is pretty close to home for me because of the fact that when I grew up, my father figure wasn't there. And I think that when I was coming up, I put a lot of it on me, in a sense that I did feel at some point the reason he wasn't there so much was because of the fact that it had something to do with me, my brother, and my sister. We all share the same dad. So with that being said, as I grew older, I did have to realize that the reason that he wasn't there is because he was dealing with his own demons, not necessarily because he didn't love my brother and my sister and I. Now, I do believe that love is an action, and love, to say that you love someone without action it just baffles me. I don't understand how you can say that but not actually display it or show it. And that's a whole story in itself. But just to kind of get back on topic there, I think there are a lot of people out there that are not stepping up to the plate when it comes to taking care of the children that they help produce. And now I'm not going to say that, the blame is solely on that individual. They could be dealing with, like I say, their own demons that they have to take care of first to put them in a better position to care for, their family. And there are some people out there actually want to be that dad and want to be, taken serious when it comes to parenting. Don't really have too much of a I don't have too much of a recollection of my father. Like I said, he wasn't there coming up. Now, I did have a stepfather who, was awesome. He went ahead and took in the responsibility of me, my brother, my sister, and he also had his own children of his own, which is my other brother and my other two sisters. So that's 6 kids, and that's 2 parents. So that's 8 people in the household. So that's 8 mouths to feed. And I tell you, man, they sacrificed. They did what they had to do to put my brothers and my sisters and I in a better position to be successful. And that's at the end of the day, that was all centered around love. You know what I mean? And one of my memories, though, of my father was when he was incarcerated, he sent my brothers and my sisters and I, he sent us birthday cards that looks like they were hand drawn. So I'm not sure if he drew the cards or he had someone else in there that drew them, but he did send them to us. And that was so small. But just to think from the perspective of you actually being incarcerated and you're taking the time out to think about your children and sending us cards, at that young age. And I used to look at those cards, man. I used to be like, wow, man, my dad really drew this. But I never asked him, so I don't know if he necessarily drew it or not. But, at the end of the day, I think we all get the point was that, to think about somebody other than yourself when you're really in a bad position, it just means a lot. But that's one of the memories that I do have of him. My brother and my sister, now I don't know how they feel being that, their dad wasn't in their lives when it was coming up. I do need to take the time to get their perspective, but I know for me personally, it was because I did feel that the reason why was because, it was because of us as kids. Maybe he didn't want to have kids. Maybe that's something that he was not prepared for, and everything just kind of threw him off completely. So, and at some point, you got to just say, well, not being in my kid's life, I probably should shift my priorities, because with me, my kids are first. With me, my kids are first, and nothing is more important to me than seeing them happy. I do have a family. I do have a wife and kids that I love dearly, and nothing makes me more happy than to see them happy. So whatever I have to sacrifice, if I have to sacrifice myself for the betterment of my family, I feel that that's what any man should do. To take care of and put them first and make them happy. And you'll see the rewards of that along the way. And like I said, just to be in a position where I don't see my kids first walk, my kids lose their first tooth, my kids riding a bike, my kids, their first recital, dance recital, to miss out on those things is something that I would feel horrible about, because of the fact is anything that's the first time, there won't be a second. Okay, so just remember that the first is actually the first time it happens, and it's a different feeling, when you see something the first time as opposed to when you see it the second time. So, and that's just kind of like what it is with me. And like I said, with them, I put them in the forefront of everything, between them and my wife, they keep me busy all the time. And I couldn't imagine being in a position where I was not doing everything that I was possibly or capable of doing in order to make them happy. So with that being said, I just want to commend every brother that's out there that's taking care of his kids, taking care of responsibility, because I know that it can be difficult, but I want you to keep going. I want you to continue and just, if you need to take a break, because I can understand sometimes it can be stressful. So if you need to do that, that's fine. But I just want to commend you for being that for your children, because it's very important for them to see you there. Because to kids, if mommy and daddy can do it, they're going to feel like they can be superwoman. They can be like, they're going to feel like they can be Superman. If mommy and daddy do it, because that's kind of like how they look at us. They look at their parents as their actual heroes. And what they do is they see what we do, they see what we say, and believe it or not, they actually model those things. So it's very important that we do that, and just be our best selves in front of them, so that they can see and they can emulate their best selves, and they're also show their potential by being their best selves and actually trying and reaching for a betterment of themselves as they grow into adulthood, or as they grow into teenagers, whatever stage of life they are at that particular time. So I just want to encourage you, and I just want to encourage, my growing up too. Like I said, my stepdad stepped up, and I love him for that. I love him for stepping up and kind of just saying, well, listen, I love you as for my mom. He loved my mom so much that he took her in. He also took her in, and he provided for us and he cared for us. And, I can never take that from him, because the things that I did go through, I don't feel a void in life. I had my stepdad in there that kind of took on the role and the responsibility of raising boys into men, and I love women. I love the fact that mothers do anything for their children, but a woman cannot teach a boy to be a man. And I can't say that any plain or any simpler than that. It's just that it's something that men experience as boys and going into adulthood, that they teach the youth coming up, and a woman, unfortunately, can't teach a man how to be a man. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. But I pray to God. I thank God that I don't have any void. And, once I released that energy of how I felt personally, I felt the weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was able to forgive him for not being there. I don't hold any grudge against anyone. And I encourage you to do the same, not to hold grudges, because it does weigh you down, and it also stops you from your blessing because of the fact that you're holding a grudge against someone or something. So just let things go. Try to be stress-free in life and just be happy, and you'll understand and you'll see more that life is rewarding based on the fact of you being more happier in life. So with that being said, I just want to encourage you. So like I said, dads out there, stepfathers, stepdads, if you're doing what you have to do to take care of your children, man, I commend you for that, and I just want to say I appreciate you and I thank you for that, because what we see on the media and what we see on TV is we're being depicted as individuals that could care less about our offspring and the people that we bring into this world. And it's not true, because a lot of times there are brothers out there that are actually taking care and stepping up, and doing the best that they can possibly do within their realm or within their own universe of things. And I commend you guys for that. And just continue doing what you're doing, and you'll reap the rewards. You'll see the blessings, as your children grow older and they understand that, what mommy and daddy did growing up, was something that was for me, so that I can have what they didn't have. And then they'll understand it. Kids will understand it. Just continue to love on them, continue to grow on them, and just be the best father figure you can. Because at the end of the day, when those children are grown and they'll be like, mommy and daddy did this for me and took care of me when I was young. Now I'm going to take care of mommy and I'm going to take care of daddy. So just continue to love your kids, fathers, and just be the best dad you can. This particular episode was sponsored by YouShieldMe.com. So go to YouShieldMe.com. It's a great company. This company